This is the first air cooler I've used in over a decade and am surprised and blown away by its performance. It keeps my 3700X at about 33 degrees at idle, and 62 degrees while intensive gaming. Max temp during stress test was 73 degrees. Its fans help to cool the rest of the components to boot. It is large. It is very quiet under load. The install and size are the only cons. No RGB might be a con to some as well. An install in a small case might be annoying. It is worth a small amount of time to install. Make sure to check clearance for RAM height. Cools as well, or better than Corsair AIO coolers, and it is quieter. It does not have RGB. Pros: amazing cooling performance, great airflow, looks good for the size, very quiet fans. Cons: size covers RGB of RAM and motherboard. Not the easiest install. RAM clearance. System: 3700X RTX 20800 4x8GB 3600 mHz 370 MB. I'll start by listing my setup in hopes that it will help address any potential spacing and clearance concerns some may have, since I had plenty prior to purchasing. Case: NZX DH510 Elite Mobo, Asus Prime Z270R 4x8GB Skill Trident 3B CPU, Intel i7-7700K OCF4. 9 XPU, MSI RTX 2080 Super GAM. I'm a casual builder, and it took me only about 15 minutes. I will admit it's a tight fit, but I did not find mounting the second fan difficult after removing the top exhaust fan. Make sure you are using the right clips, be patient, and you won't have any issues. I would not purchase this cooler to replace your existing 240mm liquid cooler if you're expecting lower temps. I've found both to idle in the low 30s, and peak around 74°C under heavy load. With that being said, I do see reduced temperature spikes with the 7700K while using the DRP4. Additionally, the Darkrock Pro 4 is a much quieter cooling solution, borderline silent. It's all personal preference. All I can say is that this is a fantastic cooler, and I'd highly recommend it for new builds. I love not having to think about liquid destroying any components. It's borderline silent, performs very well under heavy load, and looks great. If I could go back to day one of my build, and purchase this over the H100i, I would without hesitation. It took me 15 minutes to install on my MSI Pro Carbon board. Suggest one read/view the instructions several times to ensure proper installation. This was my fourth build, so I am not an expert, so I viewed online videos to make sure I installed the backplate etc. properly. Certainly not a very complicated mounting. The quality of the heatsink is very high quality and the fan is so quiet. Temps are as expected. i7-9700K, 32°C idle, 60 to 70°C heavy CPU load. Update: heavy load temps are 55 to 59°C now, paste must be curing. Had no issues installing a high/dull RAM, tough RAM by TT, but I did not use the closest RAM slot. But there is room to install in slot 1 since the fan does not hang over that slot. It was easy to install, good instructions, and came with a sexy screwdriver that was posing so nicely I had to take a picture. Be careful though, the top plate is super sharp and I actually cut myself attempting to plug in the Mobo power at the top. Other than that minor misshape, fantastic cooling. Click link in description for more reviews.